I remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles very fondly uh, growing up. I think I had a couple of their toys. I definitely had their wagon that like fired the pizzas or the manhole covers or whatever out of the front. Sure, I lost all the pieces. But there was kind of that one era of cartoons that most millennials, old millennials, or even maybe Gen Z remember, or what is it? What's before millennial? Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. If you're between 30 and 45, you probably remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. You grew up with it very fondly. What modern Hollywood does to that is rehash it and destroy it. Now, there's still a certain section of the fandoms of these original IPs that will pay money for literally anything. We saw this, with Lord of the Rings betting on that with how much money they paid for Rings of the Power, Ring-a-ling-a-ding-dong. All these woke remakes of Little Mermaid, of Snow White. People are still going to go see these movies. They're going to complain about it online, and they're going to go see it anyway. And so until such a point when people stop seeing these things, the beatings will continue. Your favorite things from your childhood will be destroyed. We saw him do it with Ghostbusters. It's an endless cycle. So there's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show or movie coming out with Seth Rogen at the helm. So we know it's going to be complete garbage. That said, I nothing this because I don't care about these new remakes or whatever. What I do care about is gaslighting and, people like Angry Joe using their huge platform to call people I consider my friends either racist or like the P word, which is essentially what he's implying here. So it came out, the new April O'Neil. Of course, everybody knew no redheads in modern cinema. So they made her black, and then they made her also chunky too, okay? If you're surprised by that, welcome to the party. That said, this is the hot take Angry Joe throws out, and it really didn't go that well for him. She was racist. April O'Neil is white, not black. I'm tired of this being replaced. This is BS woke, woke, woke. Just because you point out that they're replacing her, look, the fact of the matter is there are millions of iterations of a lot of these comic books or a lot of these IPs over the years that different ethnicities have existed. And so what the left always does is say, see here's this comic book that nobody read where April O'Neil is black. So therefore, everybody knows who knows the Turtles knows that cartoon, okay? Where April O'Neil is wearing her yellow with her red hair, okay? That's who April O'Neil is. And that's the fact. Now, you want to make April O'Neil black? Fine, go ahead. But then he goes, non-racist weirdos. I don't care that she's black, but why isn't this 12-year-old attractive? Can't wank. I don't think that the replies really went the way he wanted. Pimp Master Broda in here. I've seen this play out before. We look forward to the angry review where you end up agreeing with everyone that the movie sucks. So long as it's good, am I right? It's a Black Panther as a white guy. No, it's not, because out of the gate, it doesn't reflect the IP whose namesake it seals. As usual, do the swap test for IPs you like, or do it for protected races, Joe. You'll see it and you'll feel the same. I think that the fact that Seth Rogen's involved, it was pretty clear that it was going to be garbage. The animation style, I think, is weird, but it's at least somewhat interesting. But again, another redhead replaced. But see, part of this tweet that Eric July took an issue with is because they used his tweet here, right? You see, April O'Neil is white, redheaded lady. Just stop, you dummies. I mean, yes, again, she has existed in other forms, but the left is also gaslighting to pretend, oh no, she was always intended to be black. Eric July saying, tell me you didn't pay money for this new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated reboot, ops to tokenize. April O'Neil is a fat black woman. This has resulted in fake fans spreading. It's all debunked misinformation. DOA full videos going live. I know the attack on Reddit says real, but come on. April O'Neil is white. And then he goes after Melanie Mack by posting this. It's always people that are pulling the racist card at any April O'Neil criticism, white activists at that. April is supposed to be beautiful. They could have at least given us a cute black April. They made her ugly on purpose. Race plays no role in that. I mean, yes, I would agree with that. But then, again, Eric July is worth the follow here, because if you're not following him already, because he obviously puts this out. As usual, TikTokers and Redditors, more likely born in the 2000s, spread myths that have been thoroughly debunked for years because they pretend to care about a property. Today's myth is that April from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was originally designed to be black. This is simply not true, and I'll show you the receipts. Here's the thread. More than likely, you've seen screenshots that have either been altered or taken out of context, but let's take it from the top. Here's the very first appearance of April in the second issue of TMNT. This alone debunks everything. Not only can you see she's clearly a white woman, she's standing next to Baxter, who her boss, who is black. They are completely different tones, despite it being in black and white. Ironically, Baxter's original concept design did have him as white, but that's not the contention. These are the original first public depictions, the ones that were the perm that you've seen going around, the ones with the perm that you've seen going around. The third and fourth screenshot is her in the following issue. As a bonus, a fourth is the cover of one of the issues. In the first publication, she was white. This is not up for dispute. And here you have the cover. Zoinks! Bring back those comic books. You can see, I mean, obviously, she's clearly white here. I mean, like, it's obvious, right? He continues. This is the first time we ever saw her colored in a comic. Again, she's white. And also very attractive. The myth wasn't a thing for decades, but you'll often see people refer to her depictions in the fourth issue when she got her hair done. It's a perm. White women wore perms in the 80s. They did. Here is a non-darkened version of the cover that you're seeing shared. A white woman with a perm. So people are actually going out of their way to darken her skin color to make you think that that's how sad it is. The fact that the original comics were done in black and white has allowed these people to lie. For example, you've probably seen this photo shared of April. This is not black. She is just a tanned woman, and it's obvious when you see the colored version. Again, so people are saying she's black here, but you can see when colorized, she's obviously white. There has been versions of April that have been black, yes, but none of them are original, and the ones you keep seeing shared isn't even canon. But one of the biggest misconceptions of the claim pertaining to April's race is actually based off a misquote. In 2002, gosh, this is an expert thread, dude. In 2002, Kevin Eastman, co-creator, states that Peter Laird, co-creator, actually made April originally Asian. He goes on to say that she was named after a black woman. That woman was mixed, as was his ex. He says named after, not designed after. And no, it doesn't matter, right? Ultimately, it doesn't matter. As was a cartoon, it was the cartoon that whitewashed her. It's not true. She's clearly white here. You know, it's just like, again, you see here, we know that there's no question